Now we'll go into the story part, which is a bit more easy. So Shivarathri is like a very famous festival. It's a very famous festival and is everywhere celebrated. But it's said that the reason for its popularity started with this king. So this king is Chandraganu. He was ruling somewhere near what is currently Varanasi in India. So this king was a very a just king and very much into yoga and such practices. And this king, every year once, he won't sleep in the night and he will be continuously chanting Om Namah Shivaya, and he tends to offer a particular leaf of a tree into what's called a Shivalinga. So the people, the subjects of his kingdom, did not understand why he is doing this every year. He won't sleep, he won't eat, and whole night he's chanting. So then one of the yoga teachers of that place goes and asks him, what is the reason behind this observance on this particular night? Then he says, since you're a yoga teacher, you'll believe what I say. So he says that I am King Chandraganu now, but I was once, in my previous life, I was a hunter. And I used to provide for my family by trapping animals and then selling it. And with that money, I used to provide for my family. And one night, I got lost in the forest. And then what he did was, he already had captured a deer. He ties that deer to the base of the tree. And then he climbs the tree. And he stays on top of the tree because he's scared of the wildlife, of the jungle, of the wild animals, whether they will attack him and devour him. So he is staying up, and while staying up, he realized that he's not feeling sleepy at all. But he has a whole night to spend. And what he started to do was, he just started to pluck the leaves on the tree. And this tree is called the Bilva tree. I don't know what's in English. It's called the Bilva tree. And he just kept on plucking the leaves and just throwing it downward. And then eventually, the sun dawned. He came down the tree. And once he came down the tree, he realized that there was a Shivalinga right at the base of the tree. And he saw that all the leaves he was throwing was falling right on top of that Shivalinga. One more thing which happened up there while on the tree was, in the night, while nothing to do, he was throwing the leaves, his mind started to connect to all the people who were sleeping. And he thought about his wife and children and their struggles in life. And he thought about a lot of people. And he could see their struggles. And he felt great empathy and a compassion. And he started to shed tears. And he could see that in the morning, this Shivalinga is also wet. And he understood that it was his tears pouring down through the night that has moistened the Shivalinga, plus the leaves. Anyway, he took the deer and he went to the market and he sold the deer, got some money, and he started to go home. And on the way home, he saw a beggar. And he again was overcome with that empathy and compassion. He fed that beggar who came across him, and then he went to his house. And after a while, some angelic beings came down and said that it's time for you to die right now, but don't fear, we are taking you straight to Shiva. You're coming straight to that very exalted realm. You will be one of Shiva's kind of very dear subjects in that particular world. So he was quite stunned because he is a hunter and he can't remember doing anything great. But then the angelic beings say that that particular night is very much favored to Shiva. That's the night of the wedding of Shiva and Parvati. And on that night, if you keep awake and you offer these leaves to the Shivalinga, and if you can connect in compassion and empathy to the world, then that person will be very dear to Shiva. All auspiciousness will come to you. And then the king, remember this flashback. Okay, so the king then says that, so that is my story, and at one point of time the angel said that you need to go through some more experiences on earth, so you'll be born as a king this time, and here I am. But he says that my memory is still very sharp about what happened. So that night I remember, and even now I just observe the same principles. So what we have to know that is the forest in all stories stand for the mind. So it's not just that guy getting lost in the forest. All of us tonight or any night or any day is lost in a forest. And this forest is, the story says it's in Varanasi. Varanasi is a very, like a kind of a highly regarded place in terms of spirituality in India. So when you say the forest in Varanasi, it means it's a mind in a yoga class. It's a mind of a yoga student or something like that. It's not a normal mind, but it's already a little bit of an aware mind. And then that tree, the tree and the leaf, what you see is the Bilva leaf is very favored by Shiva. And one of the particularities of Bilva leaf is it got 3 petals. And these 3 petals were being continuously offered to the Shiva Linga at the base of the tree. Now the tree for us is always the spine. The spinal axis, the Sushumna. And those who know Muladhara Chakra, that is at the base of the Sushumna, which has a Shiva Linga. Okay, so for us, the tree and the Shivalinga at the base of the tree is Sushumna and the Shivalinga, the Muladhara Chakra. And then the offering of these 3 petals for us is the offering of the Ida, the Pingala and the Sushumna. So that is the 3 petals for us. So that's what we need to offer to the Shivalinga at the base. Okay? So now what we are going to do is we are going to offer, you can sit in a proper position. That tree should look like a tree, meaning that spinal line, not a collapsed kind of position. And we first need to tie that deer at the base. So the deer has got this hopping, moving, running all over the place kind of tendency. So that is again referring to that restlessness, that fidgetiness in us. So the deer, like any sound anywhere, it'll quickly turn the head and it'll quickly like lift his ear up. So all that you settle now. So in our practice, we tie the deer of our mind through the other practice. So we tie the mind to the body first to keep it calm. So become aware of your right big toe. Become aware of the front of your pelvic floor. Become aware of the back of the pelvic floor. Become aware of the middle of the pelvic floor. Become aware of the navel. Become aware of the heart. Become aware of the throat. Become aware of the back of your tongue. Front tip of your tongue. Front tip of your nose, the root or bridge of your nose. Become aware of the middle of your forehead, the inner middle of your skull. Become aware of the crown of the skull. Now we need a bit of a visualization. So this is climbing up the tree. So you're going to inhale, but let your inhalation go with your awareness flowing from the base of the spine all the way up towards the top of the head. So that's the inhale, you just go up, like going up the tree. Then as you exhale, try to let your awareness split into three. So from the top, one line will go to the left, one line will go to the right, one line will go straight down through the middle, and all of which will come together at the middle of the pelvic floor. So it's like you offer that exhalation and the three petals of Ida, Pingala and Sushumna. So this, if you're not familiar with these terms and lines, it might be a little bit odd. So you just inhale up and exhale. Let your exhalation, you offer it to the base of the pelvis, and you can even visualize that linga if you would like to do that. So buy yourself a few breaths. Inhale up. Exhale simultaneously through left, right and middle. Let your awareness pour down and let it all kind of fall as an offering on top of the linga, the Muladhara, or let it just fall onto the pelvic floor inside. And again inhale up the tree of the spine. Exhale as the Bilva leaf, the three-petaled Bilva leaf. After the next exhale, let go of the deliberate offering of the three petals to the base of the pelvis. And also for a few moments connect to the less fortunate, to the suffering. To the homeless, the starving, the ones with so much of diseases, so much of pain is present in the world, so much of struggle. And then you can slowly open the eyes.